If you are not on the table, most likely you are on the menu. I am telling you. If your name is not on the table, most likely, actually you are on the menu. Being on the table means that you are able to make decisions, you are very relevant. Being on the menu means you are merely available and a delicacy for those who are relevant. Welcome to episode 129 of the Inspired Family Leader Program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host, a certified executive coach, an award-winning leadership consultant, global speaker, lively facilitator, and author, the CEO of Inspired Leaders International, and your Provincial Fathers Union President. Is your name on the table or you are on the menu? Very many people are doing a lot of work, but where they are actually not relevant. And today, our topic is how you can increase your relevance, especially in the workplace. And to have this conversation with you and I is somebody who has been in the marketplace, who is in the marketplace as a relevant person. He served as an officer at the Inspectorate of Government. He served as the Executive Director at the Anti-Corruption Coalition in Uganda. He also served as the Executive Director of DEM Group, a consortium on electoral democracy. He has also served before as the Church Relations Manager at Uganda Christian University. And before he went to where he is today, he was managing a huge project, a 5,000-seater cathedral project of All Saints Cathedral in Kampala. Today, he is the General CEO of Church Commissioners Holding Company Limited, which is the business management arm of the Church of Uganda. And just a few months ago, he graduated with a PhD in Education Administration and Management, married to peace with 4 children. We have the Reverend Dr. Jasper Tumuhimbise. What is relevance and why does it matter?
Thank you so much, my friend Sam, and greetings, dear viewers. Relevance, meaning you are applicable where you are. That's applicability, the context in which you are in. Secondly, that you are valuable. Valuable means that when you are on leave, people will take notice. When you are not acting, people will feel that there is a problem, variable. But more importantly, you are pertinent in a certain situation, that you are like in a stitch in time that saves many. And that's what actually the marketplace needs. The 3 things. Applicable in context.
Valuable where you are. And pertinent in a situation that you are in. Kindly simplify the word pertinent for our viewers.
In other words, at the right time, in the right place, there is you. And you are not only simply sitting, eating and drinking, and by the way, animals do. They even do it better. You are not only simply producing, animals produce more. You are pertinent to the context that when you are there, you want to make impact. And that impact is measurable and outcomes are clear. And that's what separates a person who is a valuable from that one who is normal. And when they are firing a pertinent person, a valuable person, they go to about 3 board meetings
before the person goes.
Before the person
goes. If they are going to fire somebody who is not pertinent, who is not valuable, who is not even applicable within the context,
they even don't need to meet.
They don't need to meet.
Somebody will just do it, and nobody will even care.
That is why Bill Gates one time said irrelevance is worse than ignorance.
In other words, I can even actually put it in another way, that a bad decision is better than no decision at all. Because a bad decision, you can learn from it. No decision, you are just there.
And because you are making decisions, that makes you relevant in the context.
Exactly.
Now, could there be some common mistakes that most men are making that are reducing their market value in the workplace?
Yes, and of course I will give from my personal experience,
Yes.
but also on what we have read. One of them is failure to continuously learn and obtain knowledge.
Is it failure or refusal? Or
yeah, it is actually both.
Okay.
That you see, of course, last year I got my PhD, and that's the year we paid the church house loan, and that's the year where he was really working nicer as the group CEO.
Yes.
And so there was no need for me to go for a PhD because I have 3 degrees already: statistics, masters in ethics and public management. I have masters in theology, divinity.
Yes.
So that would make me comfortable. But when COVID hit, I sat home and asked myself, 2020,
yes,
that what can I add on my what? On my education. Just adding on learning and knowledge. And so knowledge is continuous. That when I read a book, and you have written many, I've
written 26
quite,
books.
yes, I think I need to compete in terms of reading,
yes,
so that I capture that when you have written a book, I must know your mind, and that's continuous knowledge. But books are available, physical,
yes,
then they're also available on the network, but we are busy reading garbage, lies and lies on WhatsApp. So there is no desire, yes, there is no desire for continuous learning.
So that's a common mistake you see many men making.
So you won't be valuable if you think that the degree obtained in 1922 is still valuable in 2025. No, it will not be.
Yes.
Then the second one is inflexibility. That you see, for me, I am like this.
This is how I am. Take me as I am.
Let me tell you what happened this evening.
Yes.
Flexibility means I am a CEO, I am a reverend with a collar, round the collar, I'm in a court, but because of jam between Naruva and Nansara, which is clear,
yes,
I had to go on a border.
So you were flexible enough to out of your
Why?
car
Because,
to make it here.
Because, and I would have called the Sam Bakutana,
yes,
as a Ugandan and given an explanation that you see, because of jams which you know, I am not able to make it. But no, flexibility means with even the framework of risks.
Yes.
I'm able to sit on a border, come talking to a young man called Martin, and I encourage him to do certain things.
Yeah.
And we come here and I'm able to. That's flexibility.
So one common mistake many men are making is being rigid.
Very rigid. There is no fragility. They are so inflexible that you know you can't change them.
Okay.
And part of even the challenge of our church, actually, marketplace and church, is that people are so inflexible that they can't even read the changes within the congregation. So
somebody keeps telling you that's not within my pay grade, that's not in my docket.
For us, we have been like this.
Yes.
It worked the other time, and so it marked that one is not a valuable employee. In fact, if in my opinion, such a people should be sacked without even any question. If you are not flexible enough to change within the changing environment, you are not relevant, and therefore you should go. Then integrity.
Common mistake number 3,
lack of integrity. And you see, integrity is what defines you, and it makes you the whole, integral, one. It makes you a unit.
Whole number.
Yes. So if you lack integrity, you can't be valuable. Nobody will trust you, but more so, nobody will give you what to do, because they will begin, even when you are working so hard, they will begin suspecting.
The people who also lack integrity like you, and they are doing unethical deeds, will give you a job.
But not on the basis of integrity. And by the way, they will choose somebody with integrity. They are thieves, but when they are building, they will do what? Choose somebody who will build without stealing. So in other words, value means I am unity.
Okay.
I am an integral person of a Jasper. And when you send me, you trust me. And what I do in public is what I do in private. And there is no question like, oh, Jasper will do this. Now, importantly, inadequate self-awareness. Who are you? And of course, I read it in one of your books. To have a time to retreat and know you. If you're a husband, can you marry you? If you're an officer, can you hire you? If you're a church priest like me, can you be able to pick that priest and come and preach?
If you were the voter, would you vote you? A politician like you are?
Yes. No, would you vote you? Because inside, if you can't vote for you, then who else can do that? So self-awareness, meaning take time and know your strengths, your weaknesses, know the opportunities around, and grab them. Again, PhD, 3 years, but it was a COVID PhD. May I call it a COVID PhD. And that's when I learned Zoom, self-awareness. I don't know how to navigate through Zoom. I learned Zoom and began preaching on Zoom. To date, online, I still minister online. So self-awareness. And if you do not know yourself, then nobody will know you. Then finally, poor networking.
Poor networking.
Yes. That you see, my friends of 1990 are the same friends I have.
Yeah. And they would say you are so loyal. That's why you still have all those friends.
Yeah, on loyalty, please add somebody. Okay. Be loyal to more people than you have today. And what actually I thank God for is that people who have social networks will thrive and they will be valuable.
That's true.
Because that's the one who will call some Bakutana. But if some Bakutana is not making networks, then the truth, they won't even be value. In other words, the value of gold is known when gold is being used, not when gold is hoarded. Yes. Not when gold is still on the ground. Yeah. No. It will be gold, yes, but that value will be known when it is being used, and by so many people to appreciate its value. So social networking means you need to touch this. If I have a challenge in taxes, whom will I call as a CPA? If I have a challenge, for example, in marketing, can I call some Bakutana to come and inspire, these companies? If I have a challenge in branding, whom will I? Now, if you don't network, you will just lament.
And they say your network is your net worth. I've heard
that yes.
Quite often. Others have debated it, but
yes, but that's it. That you see, my network will determine what my next job. Yes. And I can assure you, yes, IGG, but most people I worked with are still my friends. And corruption, I sometimes even go to teach their board on governance. Democracy Monitoring Group, the networks I had are still with me. Then in church, I can assure I still have very many networks. To the extent that even you calling me on this program, I'm already networking.
Absolutely.
So that when I am up country,
you are networked to me,
exactly, yes. So that when I'm up country, they say, hey, you are the one who was with
we saw you on TV.
Yes. And that's it.
Yes.
Meaning they see value because I have networked.
All right. So I have heard 5 key common mistakes that most men make in the marketplace, which end up reducing their market value.
Yes.
1, failure to continue learning. Number 2, being rigid, not being flexible.
Yes.
Number 3, lacking integrity, the character issues.
Yes.
Number 4, inadequate self-awareness, not knowing themselves and what they are able to do.
And then number 5 is the net that works.
Number 5, the net that works, the network. I hear you. So how can a man actually tell, if at all there are signs like those, how can a man tell that he is becoming irrelevant in his sector or becoming irrelevant in the workplace? What are the signs? What can he look at?
The first thing is when they are not trusting you with the new challenges.
They don't trust you with the new challenges.
Nobody calls you with a new assignment or calls you to come and sort out a new challenge. You are only called for the old.
The usual things.
Yeah, the usual things. And so you are no longer being given any responsibility other than possibly that which you signed for.
Yeah.
I mean, even those ones, it is because you are there. There are no new challenges assigned to you. The second one is decreased influence.
Decreased influence.
Yes, that you, when you are there, again, when they ask that, hey, by the way, is the other person still alive? Know that you died. In Kinyarwanda tuvuga ngo apfuye akoze ki? Apfuye ahagaze. That you have decreased your influence to the extent that even when you are there, you are equivalent to when you are not there.
So your presence is not of any better use than your absence.
It adds no value.
You are present,
your word is totally ignored. Why? Because it is not valuable.
So your contribution is inconsequential.
Even your quarrels are ignored.
Then you are more valuable.
Then in a way you are really not valuable. You are just useless.
So when you see your influence decreasing, just know you are now becoming irrelevant.
Ask God for you to leave that company.
Any other?
Then number 3, stagnant skills. In other words, you obtain the skills, yes, but you are not increasing on those skills to become better. Speaking, I mean, I normally watch you, but I can assure you there is something I learn from watching a Sam Bakutana every time I watch.
Yes.
And sometimes wonder, isn't it the other same person? Why? Because again, skills like knowledge are something that are continuously developed.
Yes, you can improve them.
Yes.
They are elastic.
Yes.
You can keep getting better and better.
That when I'm preaching a sermon today, it can't be a sermon next week.
Yeah.
I can't regurgitate. Regurgitating is going to what you preached and you think it will make. No. Yeah. Go back. Add some skill on what you already did, and people will begin.
That thing of the sermon and regurgitating, my friend. I think that's why some. Pardon me for what I'm about to say in advance. Probably that's why some of the church leaders that we have around us, their relevance in the life of the believers is reducing and reducing and reducing, because every time they stand up in the pulpit, they regurgitate what they have already shared many other times before. They simply woke up in the morning and said, what do I tell these people? They got their notebook and turned on page 22 where they did a sermon 4 years ago. They came to the pulpit and they are recycling the sermons.
And they think the context of COVID is the context of today, which is different. I mean, even in the PROE and UCE, things have changed, the grading has changed. So a computer that does not upgrade will be...
The virus will destroy you.
Yes.
So you will know that you are becoming irrelevant if, number 1, nobody trusts you with the new challenges.
Yes.
Number 2, if you have decreased influence, but most especially when you have stagnant skills and you're not getting better.
Yes, and then one more other. Of course, I talked about reduced networking.
Yes.
But now I want to talk about feeling you yourself feeling undervalued.
You feel undervalued.
Yourself and you feel really from January to December I have added 0. And you are judging yourself.
Yes.
And for me, I normally go for my retreats and actually check. Just for this company you are in. Have you added any value this year? What about this month? What about the other activities? So that actually you now address your feelings, because many people don't tell signs of their feelings. You feel irritated in the morning, your worst day is Monday morning, your best day is Friday. Around midday, no, you are trying to begin even
actually Friday morning.
Yes. Why? Because the feeling that inspires you to work have totally gone. And the best thing I normally tell people is, please follow your feelings. Get out.
In all fairness to the people we are talking about, aren't there moments when I will feel undervalued?
Yes.
Not because I am becoming irrelevant, but because those that I show value to have chosen not to value the value I give to them.
Yes.
Probably because they are bad leaders themselves. They don't know how to motivate staff. They don't know how to be grateful to the work that we do. And so I just feel undervalued, not because I am becoming irrelevant, but because I am under a bad leader.
Yeah, so that's external.
That's external, okay.
Feelings are internal.
They are.
And you should check them. Because feelings also come because of external forces,
Yes.
which is actually also okay. But
Environmental
what
nature.
about you? They are saying that you haven't produced any report. But would you say you produced it?
Yet it's not there.
So the feeling is that even when they are saying it, it is true.
Okay.
But if they are saying it and it is not true, it is like accusing me that I stole money.
Yes.
I don't even respond. Why? Because my feeling is clear.
Your conscience.
Yes, it is totally clear.
So in other words, what I'm getting here, therefore, when we say feeling undervalued,
Yes.
we are talking about when my conscience tells me that I am of low value
Yes.
because of what I know I have not delivered.
So even myself, I can't recognize or appreciate me. I can't appreciate what I have delivered.
Yes.
Inside me, I'm like, no, this month I'm getting salary.
Yes, for no reason.
For no reason.
I have not contributed.
And let me tell you that point. Of course, many people are like that.
Yeah.
But that's the lowest point somebody can go
I
to.
hear you. And these are serious signs, definitely.
Yes.
And when I look at this kind of lineup of these signs of irrelevance, you definitely realize that this person cannot have a good reputation, cannot be favored in a way, cannot be trusted with greater responsibility.
You can't patch up.
If I can quote one of my elder brothers in the industry, whom I chatted with a few minutes ago, when he saw the topic of this conversation, Dr. PK, Dr. Peter Kimbowa, he responded to my message about this program today and said, if you are not a brand, then you are a commodity. And that's how he's looking at relevance.
Yes,
that
yes.
relevance is the ability to do things that will make you a brand. And if you are not a brand, you are merely a commodity. And brands will always command greater value and greater compensation. Mere commodities will always
Be consumed,
attract some-
and that's the
consumed,
end.
and that's it. And so, which major changes have you observed in the marketplace, maybe in the last about 5 to 10 years, that you would say are impacting on men's relevance? Any major changes you see? in the
Yes,
market?
and I read recently the World Economic report.
Yes.
It is produced every 5 years. And I would really encourage people
Yes.
to read it.
Is that by
Because-
the World Economic Forum?
Yes, World Economic Forum. Because while we think, oh, investing in real estate, blah,
Yes.
blah, you need to check what is happening in these industries 5, 10 years ago. And I am glad I was given what they call a scope, time scope.
Yes.
Number one is digital transformation.
Digital transformation has happened.
The rise of technology
Yes.
and digital platforms have changed
Yes.
the way businesses do, the way companies operate. In other words, today, if you are not using digital marketing tools, digital branding, if you are not like me, of course there are some reverends who don't even watch anything on Facebook or what they think that's demonic.
Yeah.
If you are like that, you are,
It will reduce your
it will
relevance.
reduce your relevance.
So digital transformation has happened.
Yes.
Any other major change?
Globalization.
Globalization.
That whatever happens in Congo now, we shall know in minutes. Whatever happens in Russia and Ukraine,
Yes.
what Trump orders on USAID
Yes.
will reach me quickly.
Yeah.
And so there is a global culture that
We
is
are in
emerging.
one big
Yes.
global village of
And so you can't be comfortable growing maize without adding a coffee. Because globalization trends will tell you that maize,
the
that's
price of
nice,
the kilogram.
but the price really will eliminate you in the near future. So globalization means that you have now to increase the level of connectivity beyond your own village
Yes.
to beyond, we call it transboundary, that you are going beyond Uganda and reading.
Yeah.
For example, like on agriculture, how do I mechanize? How do I add value?
How do I commercialize?
Yes, and I can leak to people that Jasper Tumuhimbise and
Yes.
family are almost importing a machine for adding value on eggs.
Interesting.
Yes,
Looking
like that.
forward.
I mean, I read the egg powder and what can it do, and then when you connect it to feeding program in schools, then you'll find that yes, you are adding value on eggs, which ordinarily, we sell eggs, me and my wife,
yes,
which ordinarily become, you know, unusable after 14 days, just in trade of value.
Yeah.
But then when you add value, and you now begin importing such a machines, now that's globalization.
That's globalization.
In terms of that you are connecting the opportunities outside, connecting them to the local context. Then shifting workforce demographics.
Shifting workforce demographics.
I read recently the UBOS report.
Yes.
That you know our population is youth and children.
Yeah. In fact, about 55% of our population now is 15 years and below.
Yes.
About 78% are 30 years
and
below.
So today when you are hiring, me I'm beyond 50.
Yes.
You want to hire me. That's the
Depending
truth.
on the job we are hiring for.
That's the truth.
Suppose we are hiring elders coordinator.
No, it will be a younger one. Because the capacity to coordinate elders is through digitalization.
So the issue is not about elders, the issue is the coordination capacity.
Bit. And that's what, you know, the demographics of jobs are now. They're not looking for age, even experience. They are looking
competence.
For competence,
skillfulness, the ability to deliver,
the ability for that person to deliver, whether you are a baby,
yes,
whether you are old. And so these CVs that say 20 years experience, no,
when actually you have 1 year experience.
If you are CPA, if you are CPA, I need to know whether you know Tally or QuickBooks. That's it. But 20 years experience in a cash flow, what they call a cash book.
Yes.
This physical one. On the left you put it. No. So it is no longer about now
a major change.
The demographics of this is the age, this is the experience. No, it is competence.
So those people who are busy throwing around, you know, what they studied many years ago, their age, they are quite in trouble. Next month, from the 10th to the 19th of March 2025, at Inspired Leaders International, we are going to be running the 41st intake of the public speaking and presentation mastery course. Somebody called me yesterday in the morning and said, so what are the requirements of the course? So I talked about availing time for the course. I talked about paying the financial investment and finishing the assignments given. And then she said, how about the academic requirements? What do you need? I said, I don't need any academic requirement. We just need somebody who wants to learn and we equip.
That's it. And that brings me to what they call increased emphasis on soft skills.
Increased emphasis on soft skills. Yes.
That isn't the marketing that you studied or customer service you studied in class. It is your ability to communicate, have empathy, and work with the team.
And teamwork.
So when I reach a hotel and somebody doesn't stand to welcome me, it doesn't matter what they studied. Why it is soft
say that again. If you enter a hotel,
it is a hotel, and the receptionist hasn't stood. And they are on phone. You know these days, they're more on phone. Hey, can I help you, sir? No, it doesn't matter what they studied.
Why is it important that when somebody enters, they stand up?
Because those are the now hotel ethics.
Okay, that's
primarily
an thing.
That primarily the soft skill you must learn as a receptionist is to receive that person when you are standing.
Interesting.
Not kneeling, not sitting, not sleeping when you are standing. And if you have a phone, put it aside. And those are soft skills. And you see, those of you who are teaching soft skills now are the ones impacting the current market. Relevance will come that Jasper is able to. I mean, I'm a theologian. Yes, I can read verses. But the ability to communicate it and be relevant to the context of somebody in All Saints Cathedral means that I must be able to articulate it.
No doubt about it. These are major changes, and we definitely need to give attention to them. Digital transformation, globalization, the shifting workforce demographics, increase the emphasis on soft skills.
Yes, and you can also add even entrepreneurship. It has really skyrocketed. People are no longer waiting for rich men to trade. You know, there is a a deliberate rise in entrepreneurship. People begin owning business at 16 years.
Yeah, even less.
People are now registering. You get it?
Yeah.
And you know, if you are now in a BC before computers, the truth is that they will now totally remove you out. So the rise, I mean, many people.
That makes me curious. When you talk about the soft skills, beyond the technical skills, what are some of the soft skills that you feel are so important for men if they are going to stay relevant in today's competitive job market, besides what you've just talked about, communication?
Yes. There's teamwork. Another soft skill is customer service.
Being able to serve your customer.
I talked about networking, but now networking. It is also a soft skill that I need to be taught. If I met somebody, I was taught actually in one of the classes, if I met the president in a lift, we call it lift talk. And I know the lift will take about
1 minute.
1 minute. What would I be telling you?
Yeah, we usually call it elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch, yes, exactly. That's a soft skill. Other soft skill is how to handle human beings.
Interpersonal
relations. Then the biggest one that I read in the report is analytical thinking. The capacity to sit and say, this is the problem, I will solve it in this time with this analytical, that you know you are able to sit and say, there is church house loan, the balance 12.3 billion, there is some money in the government, how can I get it when the government is broke, and then pay that
calling the citizens
the capacity to do that,
and bonds and
yes, and then you begin navigating around. That's a soft skill, and by the way, it is hard to teach it in class.
Yeah,
that's why I actually encourage people. They should go to, even if you finish a degree, that's okay, masters okay, PhD okay, go for those soft skills. I read a book. It was written by an Indian, I don't remember, on soft skills.
Okay.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Why? Because like communication, he says, begin with either an icebreaker or a joke. And I can assure you, I have been beginning with jokes, and it makes amazing results.
In the public speaking course I talked about, we actually talk about the 9 engaging ways to begin powerfully.
Oh wow.
So it's quite a lot. Now, I see we just have about 9 minutes to end this program.
Yes.
What, therefore, going forward, would you say are some of the action points or the practical actions that a man can take in order to increase his relevance in the marketplace? What are some of the practical actions?
The first big one is, you mentioned it, developing a personal brand.
Develop a personal brand.
When I see Sam Bakutana, what do I see?
You can as well tell me actually. Yes. What you often see when you see Samuel Bakutana, when you hear.
We were together in the parliament.
A few days ago.
And of course you were you. Okay, I wouldn't tell interviewers and what. And you see, when you put up your hand, I'd also put mine up. But I realized that when Bakutana speaks, it is not good to come after him. Okay, it is not encouraged. Okay, why? Because the personal brand of Sam Bakutana is articulating issues. Why? Because he has knowledge, but two, he has created a brand that I am the leader of Inspired
Leaders International.
And it is clear. The way he dresses, the way he reacts, like this program, I mean, if it was a proper Ugandan, would have left it. And I know the reason is why? Because what am I getting? But then you insist, Jasper, you must come. You'll make calls to me. You are spending your money. Why? Because you are developing a personal brand.
Here we are. This is episode 129.
Exactly. So when you see Jasper Tumuhimbise as a reverend, what is that brand? How come that they call him in this church, in the other church, in the other church, and some reverend is busy criticizing a system that doesn't call him.
So develop a personal brand. Number 2.
Secondly, build a professional network. Now, the other network was general.
Yes.
But I are dealing with the professional network.
Yeah.
Where you now attend certain events that connect your industry. You join professional groups.
Professional bodies.
I'm like a statistician.
Okay.
I should be a fellow of Ugandan statisticians, CPA.
Because that is where you meet your fellow professionals in that industry.
That's when I will begin knowing new trends in the industry of statistics.
That's why I joined the International Coaching Federation.
Exactly.
That's why I joined the International Association of Facilitators.
And some of those will take you where your education won't take you.
Absolutely.
Because we have a coach in Uganda.
Yes.
And they will begin looking for your number.
2 months ago, I was in India because of that.
And you know, for us, some people are now local, very local. Why? Because they haven't developed, built a professional brand. Then,
Number 3,
stay flexible.
Yes.
Please remain flexible. That I'm a graduate, yes, but when I'm called upon to church commissioners, I will go, do that work, but also as well continue preaching. Yes. I have already told you I'm able to go on a border, even with the risks, but I won't count the risk compared to agility.
Yes.
That the opportunity to speak to people is this, and when I ruin it, it won't come.
Of course.
Then focus on value creation. That whatever you do, you are adding some value. Of course, the government normally talks about this, but our priority should be how do I add value on this? We keep chicken again. How do I add value on chicken? That's the egg production. How do I add value on this chicken instead of taking it out to sell with the with the feathers?
With feathers, can I take it without feathers?
And I call it an
version.
Yes, and I call it an dressing.
Yes.
Although English is dressing. I mean, I should dress it so that when I'm selling it, somebody won't be able to.
It's of greater value.
Yes. Then cultivate emotional intelligence.
That one. That one.
Self-awareness.
That one.
The ability to know that when you touch into my eye, I'm able to fight, but now I'm mature. I won't
choose
fight.
not to fight.
Yes, that's why I read Twitter and social media and they say, this one, emotional intelligence, no. Even if it is true.
Yes. How do you respond?
The reaction is not for an emotionally mature person. And you know that's the challenge today, that we are overreactive.
Yes.
And we now are pushed by what we call instincts rather than common sense. Instincts is when you are hungry, you want to eat.
Yes.
When you want sex, you want to rape.
Yes.
When you
are provoked, you want to fight.
You want to fight. Anger.
That's
and then you even fight, not waiting for time, but you even fight without a reason.
And that's what we are seeing in the marketplace, in the workplaces.
So if we want to be relevant in that marketplace,
have emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. Take your time.
Yes.
Think again. If you are to send an email, wait a bit. Let me send it tomorrow. Send. Don't click send, especially if it involves what? Emotions. Then think again, read it through. There is artificial now intelligence. Send that whole message into AI. Let it refine
the emotions.
Yes. And then you ask AI, is this an emotional email?
Let me tell you.
It will now tell you, no. The way you coined this sentence, it should read this. And you see that will increase your capacity to be appreciated even when you are right. I want to say this before I end, that when you are emotional, when you have mature emotional intelligence, you tell the truth in love.
You tell the truth in love.
Yes. Love without truth is sentimentality. Truth without love is brutality. So you can have brutal truth, but when you are now emotional and mature, you will say, okay, let me say it this way.
That has been my growth area.
Okay.
I am not where I want to be, but I'm
surely
where I used to be.
Even me,
I
can assure
be very intentional. I learned that from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15.
If I met a fool, I would tell a person you are a fool squared. But today, I will try to say you are a fool, F-U-L-L, so that we now begin talking
properly. You are somebody who may benefit from acquiring more wisdom.
More wisdom. And you know, on this one, we should have, and you know, that's now something we need to continuously keep doing.
Wonderful. Let's end it this way. In trying to stay relevant in the workplace, some men have become irrelevant in the home place. They are trying to be relevant at work, but now they spend more time there. They always leave late. They always they prioritize their workplace, and now they become irrelevant at home. Could you just give, in just half a minute, could you give a nugget of wisdom to those kinds of men?
What does it profit a man through their family and gain the whole world? I mean, that's Jesus' question, and I have paraphrased it.
Yes.
What will it profit you if you have property, you have power, and then your family is totally being ruined? I rather have my family and then be relevant within my family than having the whole world. Therefore, as I conclude, being in your family relevant if is more important than being in the marketplace relevant. In other words, I will be relevant at home before I become relevant in the marketplace, rather than vice versa.
Awesome. Be relevant in your own family first before you become relevant in the marketplace. Because, like John C. Maxwell says, if your leadership fails at home, don't export it anywhere else. Because it will be a bad seed that you're taking out there.
Yes.
Gentlemen that have been viewing, and you, our sisters, that always tag along, we are talking about relevance. You've heard that to be relevant is to ensure that you are applicable in context, that you are valuable, that you're pertinent in a situation. We have understood that there are some mistakes that we've been making, common mistakes in the marketplace. Things like failure to continue learning, things like rigidity, lack of integrity, inadequate self-awareness, poor networking. These are mistakes we've been making that have been reducing our level of relevance. We have also understood that you can actually tell that you are growing irrelevant yourself. When you look at when nobody is trusting you with new responsibilities, when you realize you have decreased in your level of influence, when you realize your skills are stagnant and you are feeling undervalued, then you get to know you have to do something. And so we have agreed that we should go and change things. And I want to invite you to change things and increase your level of relevance. Go and develop a personal brand so that, like Dr. PK said, you don't remain a commodity. Secondly, go and build a professional network because, like Robert Kiyosaki says, whereas the rich people are building networks, the poor are only looking for work. Number 3, go and be flexible. Don't be rigid. Go and be agile. Respond quickly. Go and focus on value creation and value addition. Go and cultivate emotional intelligence and speak the truth in love. As you do all these things with an open mind and having a growth mindset, what will stop you? You will be relevant in your context, in your calling, pursuing your purpose. Until next time, make sure that you live exemplarily. Make sure that you love authentically, and make sure that you lead relationally.